Quaid Azam Part 390. The Indian subcontinent from Burma to Afghanistan had almost always been a natural common market for the movements of goods and people. Partition was not just a geographical and emotional vivisection of the subcontinent. In fact, it amounted to, sadly, a totally unnaturally fracturing this common market of trade, commerce, and free movement of people too. It turned Indians in their own subcontinent into refugees, and the movements of the goods in this region acquired a new term, that of smuggling. India, in consequence, clearly lost the most. Its land and its people, plus its political and cultural social unity, was torn asunder. But then that was not of concern to the Quaid Azam. As for Britain, as a post-Second World War country, it gave up the jewel in the crown of its empire, I think wisely and just in time, for it thus saved its own war-torn land and the people. The choice confronting them was stark. Which was it to be, empire or Britain? Or was there really even any choice? That is why neither the choice made nor the method of implementing it was heroic. It was decidedly a scuttle just short of being a rout. For this, the British so clearly bartered India's interest and in the process knowingly banished peace entirely from this subcontinent. The peace is yet to return, as indeed is order, which also is yet to be fully re-established for these two vital categories of governance: peace, law, and order. Do not feel welcome these days in any of the successor countries. Was that final British trade-off? The trader spirit of the 17th century East India Company had come to the fore again, as it had always done when pressed. It made India pay the price yet again for Britain's mistake. It pains greatly to recognize that we agreed to this bargain and falsely call it a peaceful transfer of power. For this transfer, India continues to pay still. That certainly was not amongst the chosen goals of Muhammad Ali Jinnah's journey as he travelled to become Quaid Azam of Pakistan. That was our own doings. As for the British, in the end, A. Gill mockingly comments in The Angry Island Hunting the English, the loss of empire broke England's heart, but it couldn't tell anyone. So the English then experienced what everyone who has been dumped experiences, a catalysmic middle-aged stumble of self-confidence. But nostalgia has now come to their rescue. Pakistan and its citizens have doubtlessly suffered grievously in the 6 decades of an independent existence, a breakup into two in the emergence of Bangladesh for 4 military dictatorships during these decades, on top of which came the civilian governments that did not exactly serve the land. All this has inflicted upon the citizens of Pakistan untold hardships. There were then these several conflicts with India, each draining the land of resources, whereafter arrived the extremism. The country is now ravaged by all varieties of sectarian and provincial divisions, extremism and violence, and yet it demonstrates a great vitality, enormous natural creativity, and exuberance, and of course always an outgoing, heartwarming hospitality. In comparison, so much of the past pales, for Pakistan has overcome many near impossible obstacles. However, the dream of the late Quaid and the current reality do not entirely harmonize, which is a saddening comment for the land and for its people. In truth, merits so much more. Next, we'll talk about the end over here. In the retrospect, we'll continue the remaining part of the retrospect, and we'll do it under the heading of the end. that in fact will put us to an end, and we'll then move on to the appendices. That's all for today. Thank you very much indeed for watching me, listening to me. I'll bring the end of the retrospect and then move on to the appendices.